First, let's talk about the Iran war. It seems all is not well within America's military, even as the war against Iran approaches its sixth week. Remember, Washington has shaken its top military leadership. General Randy George, the U.S. Army Chief of Staff, has been asked to retire. The official announcement came after reports emerged that the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, had asked him to leave. The statement read, and I quote, "General Randy George will be retiring from his position as the 41st Chief of Staff of the Army, effective immediately. The Department of War is grateful for General George's decades of service to our nation. We wish him well in his retirement," unquote. Now here's where it gets vague. The Pentagon has offered no reason or explanation for the sudden change. According to a New York Times report, Hegseth removed the top general due to alleged clashes over blocking the promotion of 4 Army officers on a list of 29 personnel. The dismissal also comes amid rumors of possible ground operations in Iran and direct warnings from the Trump administration of more intense strikes on Iran. In fact, earlier this week, the U.S. Secretary of War had said that the next few days will be decisive.
On the battlefield, because of the latitude the president has given us, American firepower is only increasing. Iran's decreasing. We have more and more options, and they have less.
Within days of the statement, Hegseth had shuffled critical military leadership. This is reportedly the 14th senior officer that the current American administration has removed. Some of the others in the Coast Guard and intelligence have also been reportedly asked to leave. Remember, it was former U.S. President Joe Biden who had appointed General George as the Army Chief of Staff in 2023. His tenure for the top job was supposed to end in September of 2027. During his service, he was deployed outside America multiple times, including during the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. All right, let's try and get a perspective on what has been happening. I'm joined by Colonel David B. Rosage. He's a professor at Thayer Marshall Institute and former Deputy Director for Peacekeeping in the Office of the Secretary of Defense. He's joining us live from Washington, D.C. at the moment. Colonel, good evening. Welcome to WION. I want to ask what has been going on? What is your sense of what has been going on within the American military, considering the fact that there is a war that is going on at the moment and clearly doesn't reflect really well for a country to keep changing its top military leadership amid a war?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So let me give you a little bit of background here. This might seem a little pedantic, but the Chief of Staff of the Army doesn't actually have a direct warfighting role. The military services are force providers. So they generate a force, they provide general capabilities, they train it, they equip it, they show how the force is manned. But then that force is moved out to combatant commanders. So for the Iraq war, or the Iran war, it's Admiral Cooper, the commander of Central Command. So this is not really about warfighting. This is more about peacetime administration and direction of the services. He doesn't have a direct warfighting role, although he is a pretty effective warfighter.
So Colonel, by what you're saying, by that logic, does that mean then it, of course, has to do more with what Pete Hegseth has been saying, a new vision for the U.S. Army, a new strategy, and perhaps the political inclinations of these generals and whom they were appointed by? General George was appointed by Joe Biden in 2023. Would it have to do with that at all?
I think it has everything to do with that. And honestly, if you know General George's history, and I've known General George since 1985, so we were in the same company together at West Point. He was a freshman, I was a senior. When I graduated, he became a sophomore, and there's a career Army officer assigned to each company. His career Army officer, his tactical officer, was Major Lloyd Austin, who later became Biden's Secretary of Defense. And General has been guiding and mentoring General George for his entire career. So when General Austin was the commander of Central Command, General George was his chief of staff. So I think that given that close a relationship with General Austin, who of course, the Trumpistas really dislike. It's kind of surprising that General George remained in post as long as he can. There's another issue here, I think, which is just Secretary Hegseth, who he has, in my assessment, the mentality of a junior officer who sees everything above him is screwed up, doesn't really understand a lot of the institutional imperatives, which seem irrational, perhaps, to those at a junior rank. And I think that he has a degree of contempt for people who have made their entire career in the upper levels of the Army and produced these results.
Okay, hold that thought, Colonel. I'm going to come back to you. I also want to tell our viewers about what has been going on militarily as far as the Iran war is concerned.